What is up, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley Adora, and this channel is called Give Me My Change. And what that means is it's basically a pledge that I made to myself that I was going to start going after the life that I really want and stop pretending or just saying the things that I was gonna do and like actually get to it and manifest and create a life that makes me happy inside and that I can be proud of. So if you are into self-improvement, self-evolution, facing your fears, all that kind of content about bettering and thriving, then be sure to subscribe to this channel and come along on this journey with me. I want to know about your journey because I feel like the more that we share, the better we connect with one another and the more we inspire. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, hit the button. So today, what I'm gonna be sharing with you all is basically how already I know that this year is going to be something different. Like it's gonna bring something great into my life, and it's already just off to a completely different start than most of my other years in the past. Not to say that every year has been the same, but pretty much like the way that I usually approach it and like the vibe in the beginning is the same, except for this year. It was really different. And I know what you're thinking, like, girl, it's February, mid-February at that. Like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? But that's exactly the point, and I'm going to get right to that. So 2022, I mean, not to be like Issa, but it's feeling
like me season right now.
And I hope it feels like you season to you too. I don't know, it's just something about this year. I feel like my head is on like straighter, if that's the thing. Like I just feel like more in tune with myself and more aligned than I have been in previous years, and kind of just really in a space of being ready to kind of like live out my dreams and make things actually happen and not just kind of have these ideas or this board of what I want. I don't know, I just feel more ready for this year, like more ready to live. Not so much plan, not so much stuck in the past as I have been in other years. I just feel like I'm ready to get it started, get it popping. To get that change, you know, stop wishing for stuff and go after it. So to start, January 2022 was different than other Januaries in the past because it really didn't matter to me that it was the beginning of a year. And I know that sounds kind of like crazy, but I was just still very much in like hibernation mode. I was still sorting through some feelings, some things, not really feeling so up to being around family and just like in a lot of people's space, not just because of the Rona, but you know, I was just very much like in my bubble mode. Like it wasn't a time for me to like get to planning about, okay, this is what this year's gonna look like, or new year, new me. Like I wasn't really feeling that, you know? I basically just binge watched Sex and the City, opened gifts with my kids, and ate what I wanted to eat. You know, I stretched here and there and I meditated a little bit, probably needed to do more. But really, I just, like I said, I was in my bubble of thought and feeling and just kind of like being for once, which is not like me. Normally when January 1st comes, I have a plan, you know what I'm saying? I have all these goals and all these expectations for myself, and it's like once that clock hits a certain number and that day starts, I feel like I have to get started. I have to know what I'm going to do. And so it's just really nice not to have that pressure. I didn't have any pressure. I didn't have any plans. I wasn't out partying. I hung out with my kids and a friend, and that was pretty much it. And I just kind of like fell more into myself in a good way. And I really am glad. I really enjoyed that approach more so, because I feel like no matter what day of the year it is, you know, when you're ready to do like a reset, like a real like evaluation and like mapping out of what you want going forward, you'll feel that. You know, you'll feel that inside, and no calendar is going to tell you when that is. And so I'm just glad that I took this approach this year and kind of just eased myself into the newness of the year. It wasn't like, boom, new year, new me, what's up? That wasn't it. Plus, also for me, February is kind of like my new year because that's when my birthday is. My birthday is February 22nd, just in case you guys want to wish me a happy birthday or whatever. But that's kind of like when the year really gets new for me, which is kind of cool because it's close to January. But I just, you know, I really, like I said, eased into the whole new year thing because I don't want it to be a new year, new me. And I say that like I just made this decision, like I'm just gonna ease into this. But really, I did try. I did try to sit down and make a list of the things that I want to achieve this year, try to manifest. I did make a vision board, and it was cute or whatever. I like it. It's something to look at. I was starting to list like how many followers I want to get and the amount of money that I want to make. And while I do want to be intentional and manifest those things, I just felt it started to kind of feel like I just kind of started to feel the walls closing in. I don't know if I triggered myself, but it just started feeling like years passed, like putting all this pressure and all these expectations on myself only to basically psych myself out and then do none of it. And I just wasn't feeling it. Once it started sinking in that I wasn't feeling it and it was kind of like triggering me and kind of like springing up some self-doubt, I was like, let's take a second. So I stopped and I just started listing kind of all the things that I was proud of that I did in 2021. And just that small like moment, that shift made such a difference. I started feeling such pride in myself and so much love and like, oh wow, you did do that. Like, oh wow, both the kids are potty trained. Oh wow, they are in a really cool daycare that's not far away. And I switched jobs. I got out of my toxic job that I was at for years that was literally like breaking me down inside. And I started a blog. I started this YouTube channel. I just really started to take inventory of the things that I was happy with. I put my mental health first. Like I got a life coach and a therapist, and I'm actually like doing the work, and I'm working out and meditating. It's just like all of these things, while they don't fit in this perfect box of like I am the best at, that wasn't the point for once for me. It was more so like, girl, look at all the changes you have made. Look at all that you have done. Look at all that you have. Look at how much love you have surrounding you. Like, so that really filled me up. And before I start listing off things that I want, I'm going to make a habit of that now, to first start with gratitude, because that just changes the vibe of it all. You know what I'm saying? So if you haven't tried that before, try it before you step into anything new, or before you ask the universe for anything, or even try to manifest anything for yourself. Just like stop and make space for gratitude, because I mean, it's only gonna get you to vibrate higher, and who don't want that? So once I took time to do that, I really didn't feel like going back to making a list. I mean, I made my list of what I wanted for this year, and I kind of, I just kind of let it go. I put it up on the board. I know it's there. However much I knock off of that is cool. But the real shift that I was talking about for this year that's been different from all the other years was like, for the first time, like I care more about two things: my attention and my intention. My attention, like what I'm giving focus to, because what I focus on expands. I kept hearing that message over and over again in books, on Instagram and TikTok, and or in my meditations. And it's like, what you focus on expands. And I was like, wow, that's true, because I have spent a lot of time navigating with my anxious mind and like focusing on things that have me worried. And those things just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when I find something in real life to worry about, just like that gets bigger and it multiplies. And it's just like all I see. And I was like, I'm going to focus more on the things that I actually want to expand. I want to focus on loving myself, on being present, on pumping myself up to do the things that scare me, being present with my children, and being a better partner, and being invested in the work that I'm giving and being proud of it. Like, that's what I want to focus on, the things that I actually want to see get bigger. I want to see my career get bigger. I want to see my bank account get bigger. I want to see the love in my life expand, reach all the corners. So attention was the first one and intention is the second. And I kind of, in a way, am swapping out intention for goals, because I've always been a goal-oriented person. I've always been a person that likes to make lists of things I want to do. I'm a list girl, I'm a planner girl, all of that. But when I really thought about it, it was just a means to put more pressure on myself. And it was always so big. Like, I don't know if any of you have been to my website or my blog or whatever, but I did a post last year on New Year's, and I had this wall of all these goals. And, I thought it was gonna work better for me if I just put them on sticky notes and just had this list that I could just rip off and say, see, I did this, see, I did that. But the problem is that it was so big and it had no focus. It was just all these different lifelong changes that I wanted to make that I was squeezing into 365 days, which was a lot of pressure. And I was only focused on the result of being able to rip those things off the wall. Not the journey, not the experience, not the growth, just the end result. And that's what a goal is, really. It's just the end result, the finish line of something, which is great. We all want to get to the finish line, but you can't you can't grow that way. You can't experience things that way if that's all you're focused on. You got to do the training, you got to do the work, you got to actually enjoy the labor. So I'm shifting from being goal oriented to being intentional, which means being deliberate, doing things with a purpose. And I like the feeling of caring about the purpose of things more than just the end result. So now when I start my days, instead of just making a list of all these things I just have to do, first I start off with how I feel. I think about how I feel and how I want to feel and how I want this day to feel to me. And then I make a list of things that I can do to feed that feeling, to feed that vibe, to feed that intention. Like, if today I want to feel creative and powerful, then I might lift weights, or I might meditate a little bit longer, or I might outline a couple of videos that I want to make, doing the things that are going to feed into the intention of that day or that week or the year. So yeah, I'm really excited about being intentional. That just feels so much better. It feels more fulfilling to say than just focusing on the finish line. I'm gonna get there, but I'm not focused on getting there. I'm focused on the journey. It's a journey. So I'm really excited about that. And for me, the intention of this year, if I were to put it in a phrase, is really just to show up and show out for myself. Like, I want to impress myself. I want to be so devoted to impressing myself, whether that's in the way that I love myself, the way that I love others. I want to try new things. I want to travel, for sure. I'm traveling this year. I'm being consistent in the videos and podcasts and the content that I make, and that it's for the good. It's sharing lessons that I've learned, and it means to be able to connect to someone else and help other people. I also intend on just kind of like not necessarily pushing myself over the edge, but showing myself what I can do for once, pushing past the fears and just kind of like doing it and achieving things that maybe I didn't even know I could. So my intention is just to really show up to therapy, show up to the gym, show up to quiet space time for myself, show up for my kids and give them new experiences, show up to that airport, find new ways of generating more income passively, reading more. I'm really falling back in love with reading. So I'm just really excited to just show up and be that girl for me. I've been the last session I had with my therapist, she said something to me that's just really been like sticking to, like, been on my shoulder this whole time. And what she said is that this is now my seed planting season, and that harvest time will come, but right now it's about planting seeds and nurturing them. And basically that translates to I might be in an uncomfortable phase in my life right now, but that I need to lean into it with faith in myself. And I was like, I've been uncomfortable for so long, but have I really been believing myself through it though? Not really. And so now I'm kind of getting excited about believing in myself. like it's such a shift, and I know it sounds crazy. It's like, of course everyone should believe in yourself, and it's like you can believe in your capabilities. Like, I know that I'm capable of doing things, but it's like, do I believe that I'm going to be consistent? Do I believe that when I have a hard day that I'm going to make a choice that's going to make me feel better in the long run? Or am I going to have a drink and sit on the couch and eat chocolate? Or am I going to like watch trash TV instead of meditating? Or am I going to like fuss and yell at my kids instead of just like taking a moment to woosah, like talk things out with them? Like, it's finally time for me to change the way that I approach things. And so I think what I heard on a podcast that was like super helpful to me, that kind of like opened my eyes, was like something to the effect of like, we are our systems. Like, as far as reaching our goals and elevating in life, it all falls to what our systems are, like how we orchestrate our life and what we have in place to be able to do the work. And so for me, I'm like, man, I really need to get on my ritual game. And I don't mean just like lighting candles and like full moon stuff and things like that. I mean, like, what do I do in the morning to make sure that I'm still the captain of my ship, to make sure that I'm navigating my day from the moment that I wake up? Because it's really easy to just get sucked into other things. It's so easy to get sucked into social media, TikTok, Instagram. You wake up, boom, you look at that. It's so easy, especially when working from home, to kind of just roll out of bed and then go straight to work and get to the demands of other people. I have kids, so it's really easy to just get wrapped up in doing for them, or doing laundry work, or my partner and finding out what he needs and like making plans with him or whatever. And I have a lot to do. I need to be all those things, but also still do things like this and create a business of my own. So I am really excited to kind of hone in on a ritual that works for me, on things, non-negotiables of what I do in the morning and throughout the day that ensure that I handle business, but that I'm also balanced and giving myself grace and compassion along the way. That I'm meeting myself halfway, and I'm feeding myself and giving myself enough fuel to do all the great things that I want to do. I've been really praying and meditating on abundance. And when you ask for things like abundance, that's a lot that comes in. And it's easy to ask for things, but it's a whole other thing to be prepared for it. And for me, I'm just like, man, I need mental and emotional endurance. I need to be able to handle all that I'm asking for, and to be able to rise to those occasions and be balanced enough to accept it and handle it and maneuver it and help it grow and nurture it, seed planting season, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited about developing rituals that will keep me aligned and help me elevate as I go to this next chapter in my life. So I'll be sharing that with you, the things that work for me, the things that don't. Same thing as far as also another thing that I'm going to be working on is recompositioning my body. I feel like I've been on a weight loss journey for a good chunk of my life. And while I know that the weight loss will come, what I'm really focusing on is like molding my body and my shape. Like I want to be strong, like pull-ups, like doing pull-ups everywhere, like definition, like flexible, and not just to look a certain way, because trust, I do want a body yaddy, but I also just want to kind of like test my limits and like kind of see the changes that I can make within myself physically, like literally mold myself. Like I'm really excited about that, because for once it's not to be a certain size on the scale or to like fit into a certain size jeans. Like I just kind of want to see what I can create as far as like muscle and like toneness goes. So I'll be excited to share that with you. I've already got 2 trips planned for sure this year. I'm trying to make it to 4, but your girl is gonna be moving and shaking and doing some things. I'm still in my therapy. I'm still in my mindset coaching. I'll continue to talk about that as well. But like I said, already this year just feels different. It feels different. I like it. I can't wait to keep sharing my journey with you guys and just kind of letting you know how these changes and how these new things are affecting me, and actually, you know, like I said, going after that change and not wishing for it. Give it to me. It's my change. That's how I feel, but in an exciting way, in a loving way. Speaking of change, I will be reincorporating podcasting back into my schedule. So there'll be a week where I post a video, and then kind of like me checking in a week later, which will just be a podcast, audio only. I'll put the links below. I'm pretty much everywhere podcasts are found. And that's kind of just how the rhythm I'll do it. Video podcast. Because I got to create something that works in the rhythm of my life. And I really don't want to let audio go. But spirit has been telling me, and the universe has been telling me, like, you too, girl, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. Like, shout up, shout out. So here I am, but that's going to be the new schedule as well. And yeah, I'm just really excited about this year. Like I said, my birthday's coming up. I'm going on a trip. I can't wait to share that with you guys, and like all the getting readies and me going through my mental process of doing something new, because you know I'm still an anxious baddie. I still get the nerves, you know what I'm saying? So working through that and elevating through that, I'm excited about, and I just can't wait. I can't wait to share it with you guys. So like I said before, all things self-improvement, self-evolution, following my journey, please be sure to subscribe. Find me on all the podcast platforms. It's the same. Give me my change on IG and TikTok and all that. Twitter, you can find me _ give me my change. Also, you can find me at _ Ashley Adore, because that's who I be. And you know, I can't wait till the next video. Keep on rising, you guys. Love you. Bye.